Hello and welcome back to the arcade. As always, this is Sean, and we're back in Blighted Skies. I have been away for almost 2 months now, I think. It's been a very hectic summer, not a very good summer. Losing my job at the beginning and just trying to find something stable. Megan quit her job, and we found out that her lower back she has a herniated disc and a slip disc. So it's not been a fun summer. It's been a very hectic summer. But the end of the summer started looking up. Megan just got a new job. I got a new job at the beginning of August. Both very good. I'm in customer support role and order entry for a company, and Megan is running an event center, or helping run an event center, I should say. So things are looking up. I'm a little sick right now. I do apologize. I'm just getting over it. Cold. But besides that, it's just good to be back. I had to let the YouTube videos go for a little bit because real life demanded me to take some action and try to get things sorted out. But hopefully, going into the fall and winter, I can go back to that at least one video every 2 weeks. And we can continue our story and world building for Blighted Skies. I'm also working on a Lancer campaign in Foundry with a couple of friends. We're going to see how that goes. We might record it. I got to talk to them about that and see if they feel like they want to be recorded, or they want to be appropriate enough to be recorded. But besides that, yeah. Welcome back. It's good to be back. The boys are happy to be back too. They're both healthy. We're actually getting them into the vets kind of soon. Both Jet and Popo will be going in. Get them all caught up on their shots, and just a bunch of cute little dudes. But anyways, welcome back to Blighted Skies. Now, we haven't named this village yet, this town. I don't believe we have. No. So if you got a name for the Myconoid village here in the Saltrot Strand, please do. But I've been playing on and off, kind of just on my own, off stream. I haven't really been doing anything like on stream or anything. Been very private, trying to fix things in my life. And we've almost finished Saltrot Strand. Really, the only thing that's left is finishing the bosses. But the storyline for it starts here. So, over here, where is he at? Over here. Advisor Metal goes ahead and asks you to check out this corruption. You go over here and into the ancient burial grounds and find out that, yeah, they're raising their ancient warriors and their ancestors and raising an army. This is a problem. This Gloomrot cult, Gloomrot cult has gotten out of hand. So he tells you to send word. And Etchmund is like, yeah, I know, the woods here aren't safe. You're like, we can't get to town. We're kind of stuck here. And he has you go and kill some wolves and some infected boars. And then he's going to have you go ahead and head to the city to send word. And as you head into the city, you see this weird cropping of trees. And here we have the new forest sprite spirits. These forest spirits are kind of the last ones in here. They are trying to fight off the whole pollution and infection of the spores. And this is an old forest spirit ruin. The spirit of the forest has all but died out in Saltrot Strand. Their presence is all but forgotten. The last of the living forest spirits have taken up a dwelling in the old ruined temple, long lost to the wilds. This is kind of an overtaken area where people can come and sell, goods if we had a reputation system. Like, this would be the vendor for the forest spirit reputation. But he wants you to go out, and he has you go and kill some frogs, because that's which pollutes. Poison collection of infected spores for more spores. Spider venom. And then he gives you a blessing of miasma protection, and then if we could do like fire or poison and ice and separate different types of damage. This would give your character, if you did this side quest, you'd get a 5% resistance to poison damage. If we could do quest things like that. But that's just a little side quest, kind of side reputation thing. The main storyline continues you to the village and to come and talk to the captain. He is like, okay, but like we have to protect our own home, and the cliff drakes are a problem. Go and kill some cliff drakes, and then kill the queen, the alpha, and bring me its head, and then maybe we can talk about possibly sending help. And while you're in town, you also meet a merchant who is looking for a higher quality product and introduces crafting to your character. And if there was a crafting system, I know Trevor probably is not going to put his crafting system in, because that would be a lot of coding, and I don't really know how exactly it would be implemented into the gameplay wise for both us and the NPC character or players that we get in the game. I don't really know what exactly it would benefit them. But the last thing he does is tell you about strange customers he's been having. And you come over here and you meet Lady Enda. Lady Enda, you interrogate, and you find out that there is a rot within the walls. You go into this inn and you fight all the cultists that are in this inn, because there are Gloomrot cult in the inn itself. And then after it, you go and tell the captain that there's enemies both within the walls and out, but you've taken care of that, and you close the tunnel underneath the city. So, with that, he goes, that which festers below and sends a contingent up to help bolster the front line, or at least help create a front line. He sends you back north. When you get back north, as you can see that little arrow up there, he sends you all the way over here. And in here, we will be implementing quests to go and fight against the encroaching horde that is starting to push out from the Salt Rock depths. We have cultists, we have giant spore frogs that the cultists have befriended and you're using. We have some skeletons and undead zombies. They're going to have you start pushing it, and then finally they're going to have you assault the Salt Rock depths. And this is the end of the storyline here, because within the Salt Rock depths, the Gloomrot cult attempts to revive and bring back to life their leader, the First Bloom. You'll enter the cave, In the cave, you can see there's starting to be growth. There's some druids with some animals infected by their spores taking over their minds that you can clear out, and there's this maze of caverns that you have to go through and try to find a key. There's 3 keys that can be found in here, depending on how long the player wants to spend. There's one of them right here. There are a bunch of, as you can see, just a spider web. Well, not really a circle, but I imagine that if you can't zoom out, you can get lost in here pretty easily, because a lot of it looks the same. But as you get closer and closer to the old temple, you see there's a contingent of Gloomrot cults. Well, a druid who has been placed with the job of keeping this held. We'll leave him as Wintertooth. If you got a good name for him, for the gatekeeper to the First Bloom's temple, let me know. So then you go through here and you fight a couple more undead, some elite undead. That's the final stopping point before you go into the door. You take your key and you unlock the door, and as you go in, you see the true horror that's to befall the Saltrot Strand. Because they have amassed an army. And this is the Gauntlet. They have formed up. They know that they're being attacked. They have formed up, ready to defend their temple and let the ritual be finished and revive the First Bloom. And so the key is to grab enemies and pull them back. And this is going to be introducing our two of our new dungeon enemies. We have the First Bloom's Chosen, as well as the Deep Inquisitors, which I really like how these guys came out. Both of them really just look great and creepy. But as you can see, there are bad guys everywhere. And it will be a fight to make it through. Once they do, we'll go along this cavern, this temple hallway. We'll see that there is some growth coming. And this is the ritual center, the ritual chamber. And you can't get in there yet, because the key for that is locked behind 2 bosses. You have this room, which is the garden. And as you can see in the garden, there are many hidden enemies, with some boars and some chosen kind of hidden in the woods or in the forest of mushrooms. Then you go to the left and you have the storage with some elite packs and some treasure for them to have. And then the alchemist's room. And here we kind of introduce the Spore Plague alchemist, who has experimented on himself and caused himself to mutate, causes mutations in enemies that does debuffs and damage. I guess I should explain the other 2 as well. The Deep Inquisitors are AoE, melee, I wouldn't say tanks because they can't really heal, but they do have a protect. But they they're fighters. And I just really love how, I really enjoy how that character model came out. Like, it's possibly one of my favorite ones now. In fact, let's get a little thumbnail real quick. We can find the print screen button. There we go. Could not find my hook. Excuse my language, sorry. Could not find the print screen button. Or F12 anywhere. Didn't move, my hands weren't working. But you go through the alchemist chamber. You get to the boss door, and in the alchemist chamber is a key to a boss. Enter Thought Warden Mercs into what is the crystal chamber. And in this chamber, these crystals are used to communicate between the hive mind that is the Gloomrot cult. Because they do have self-thought. But behind it all, coordinating everything, communicating with everyone in the cult, is Thought Warden Merc. Thought Warden Merc, as you can see, he is an alchemist, but also a holy man, a psychic. And we will be creating his attacks. He's one of the bosses I haven't finished yet. We'll be creating his boss phase probably today in the video. Excuse me. Then, after you kill him, you'll get a key. And you'll be able to go into the choir chamber. Within the choir chamber, you will find the voices of the Hollow. Or the voice of the Hollow. The Hollow Choir. And I'd just like to say, really, all of our boss chambers, I think, so far look really, really good. I'm really enjoying how well you can decorate and create these boss chambers. Then, after you kill him, you'll get another key. And with that key, you can go through to here. And here you will find the first one, Varak. He has a contingent of guards because they have completed the ritual. And as you can see, he is cultivating. Varak was a beast. And this is actually him, not fully formed. He's still gathering strength for his body to be complete. That's why it looks so mashed together. That's the idea, is that he's not actually, this is not him in his complete form. You were able to interrupt the ritual by killing the Thought Warden and the voice of the Hollow Choir. But after you kill him, there is going to be a dungeon exit in here, so you can leave from there. Or you can go and fight the optional boss. You do not have to kill this boss, they do not have to fight this boss at all. But I give you our first dragon in the world of Blighted Skies, the Deep Delver. Now, this dragon, obviously, is a water dragon. In name, because I'm gonna use dragon as more of like a title of monster than the actual like style of monster. But he is, I believe, our first dragon type monster. And he just lives down here. This has been his home forever, you know. And with the everything going on, it's opened up a cavern that leads to his lair underneath, you know, the mountains, and that leads out into the ocean. So he can go out to the ocean from that back area there and come back in. And he lives here. This is his home. This is where he lives. And our players can go in and fight him within his watery abyss. I believe we have him fully set up. Let me double check. And we do not. Actually, have a lot of bosses to take care of, I guess. Is the Voice of the Hollow the only one we have done? I think so. It doesn't look like we have any of the other bosses done. Okay. Well, you know what time it is. I'm going to go ahead, get these bosses fixed up and all done, and I'll skip ahead once they're all done and kind of explain the boss mechanics. Welcome back. So we finished our bosses. We have Thoughtward Mert, who does kind of a crystal memory deprivation. He's got Thought Disruption, which is his basic attack, and deals 3 damage as he whispers, you know, in your head. Thought Warp Wield is a pulse around him that does damage and stuns for 2 seconds. Rooted Mind does 12 damage over 6 seconds and roots the target in place for those 6 seconds. Memory Leech has a beam that goes from a crystal to a character, not in game, but that's how I imagine it would work. That siphons mana, rage, and does a little bit and weakens them. Then Mind Spore Blast 1 is during phase 1. It's 2 mana, 3 second cooldown, and you basically blast an area with damage, dealing 6 damage and slowing the target. And then Mind Spore Blast 2, when the crystals in phase 2 are fully charged and no longer taking his power, excuse me, it does 10 damage and he can cast it every 1 second. That's the only thing that changes in phase 2 is the Mind Blast. Varric has 3 phases, kind of like what we talked about, but different. He's got Blooming Rot Wave, which is an AoE area of damage over time. He's got a Grasping Roots, which just immobilizes a person. And then melee area slam attack that weakens for, I believe, 5? Nope, it just does 4 damage. I did not add the weaken. It does 4 damage in area. It's his basic attack. During phase 2, he gets Spore of Madness, Fungal Torrent, Blooming Rock Wave, and Rotting Slam, so we get rid of Grasping Roots. But he gets to basically do a cone of damage over time at 10, and drain mana and siphon health. And then Spore of Madness would be a confusion spell, but we don't have that, so it's damage over time with a weaken effect for 2 seconds. Make it 3. Oh. If I don't mess it up, I'll make it 3 seconds. Then his final phase, he gets Spore Nova and Decaying Grasp. Spore Nova does 15 damage and weakens for 80%. It is a melee range, small area, 1 second cast, 10 second cooldown. Decaying Grasp is 30 second cooldown, 2 second cast, sniper range, large area. It siphons 10 health per player that's hit and roots them in place. And that's kind of his boss. And then finally, we have the Deep Delver. The Deep Delver is a dragon. It's 3 boss phase. Has Brine Breath, Tidal Slam, and Tentacle. It's probably not how you spell tentacle, but I don't care. Tentacle is his basic attack. Brine Breath is his breath weapon. Does an area, large area, within melee range. Cost Rage does 8 damage and weakens by 10% for 6 seconds. This would be a one of those stacking debuffs that you could get. And he also has Tidal Slam, where he slams a tidal wave into you, does 5 damage, and slows you for 5 seconds. Also on a 5-second cooldown. Then he gets Whirlpool, which is basically an area, small area that roots target in place and does damage over time. And then in his last phase, he gets Echo Roar, which is free cost. He just roars every 30 seconds, dealing 5 damage and slaying the target for 1.5 seconds, and increasing damage dealt by 65% for 10 seconds. Then he also gets Swallow Whole, where he does 12 damage over 6 seconds and stuns the target for 6 seconds as well. And that's the bosses. With that, besides decorating this room, I think the dungeon is complete. So let's take a look at this room. That's awesome. With us finishing the dungeon and everything, our first player to reach level 6 has made landfall on the mainland. That is exciting. So, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. We finished up the dungeon. Saltrot Strand is finally completed. And when we start next time, we'll move on to the capital of the Myconoid Kingdom, Hololight. Right in here. But, as always,
if you're still here. Thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe, it really helps us out. Share this with some friends. And put a comment down if you want to add your name or name a city. Or even take ownership of a shop somewhere. There's lots of shops still up for grabs throughout the world. Just let me know where you want to be located at. I'll even make a NPC guard out front for you. But, as always, thank you for coming to the arcade. Have a good day.